Hi Naina, how are you?
I'm good, Vidisha. Thanks for having me.
Same, we're really excited to have you today. So let's just begin. My
Sure.
first question to you is since when have you been using Twitter?
Oh God, since 2006.
Right, it was back when we had Twitter as TWTTR, right?
Yeah. 2006
And
is when I signed up to the platform.
right, so how was your experience back then?
Back then, I think I remember very clearly that I signed on and I immediately, because I was curious to see what was happening, I saw that there were a few people who were, writing text like on the screen and they were talking to each other. So it seemed like they knew each other. And there was a way to see that I think they were located where they were located. And all of them were located in Palo Alto in California. And they were all like, hey, let's go out for a coffee. Why don't you join us for a pizza? And I was like, okay, maybe there's somebody in Bombay that I can say that to. And there was nobody else. So essentially, I was like, okay, maybe it's not really meant for someone in India. Maybe it's just for the US audience, etc.
So is that how you figured out that you were the first Twitter user, or how did you find that out?
No, I actually, it somebody told me that I think you might be the first Twitter user from India. And I was like, shut the front door. What? And then they pointed me to an article that somebody had written, which was the first 140 people to sign up to Twitter. Because Twitter used to have 140 characters earlier. Right now it has
Right.
218. So
Mhm.
someone had written an article, and I'm in the 141st people who signed up on Twitter, and I couldn't find a single Indian or Indian sounding name on that list. So essentially, I was like, huh, this could be true. So I wrote an article on my own blog saying, am I the first Indian Twitter user? And I got a lot of bunch of people saying that, we can't find anyone else, blah, blah, etc. But it wasn't like I don't think anyone's really dug deep and done like deep research into it, etc. But yeah, it's commonly thought that I'm the first user of Twitter from India.
So what have been the changes that you've seen over the years, like from 2006 to 2022? What There have been a lot of changes, definitely, but what were the most drastic changes that you've seen over the years?
One was, of course, the 280 characters,
Mm-hmm.
which I think took away from the essence of what Twitter was, because it was essentially you, at least with 140, with what I used to do was I used to try really hard to compress what I was talking or what I was thinking in 140 characters. I think with 280 characters and the whole thread system, it's just become like a blog.
Right.
And one thing that I miss is something called the fail whale. We used to have this blue colored whale that would pop up if suddenly Twitter servers had crashed, because I don't think they could keep up with the demand of the users all over the world. So the fail
Okay.
whale has gone, which is I think great for the services that Twitter provides. But I kind of miss it because once in a while it'll be like, oh no, I saw the fail whale. Did you see it? And I think
Okay.
the community aspect of Twitter has been lost. At least I have not seen that coming back.
Apart from the changes, we'll talk about what's going on today, right? So after Elon Musk's takeover, there have been a bunch of changes. One of them being the subscription fee for the verification badge. So, do you think people will be willing to pay for it?
So I still think that I don't have clarity on it yet, because just today I saw somebody had shared screenshots of two different badges. One is the blue tick that we currently have, and then there was another gray tick which also read official under the blue verified tick.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
I think they are still trying to decide what to do with the blue tick, because the blue tick has always been to represent that this is the real person in real life who is also on Twitter. So to say
Mm-hmm.
that yes, this is the actual person that you are chatting with, this is the same person, like Naina as a photographer, yes, this is the same photographer.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're kind of trying to change that. So I'm not really sure
Mm-hmm.
what that will entail yet.
Okay. So yeah, they did try out the official badge, but then they did
Yeah.
took it off. Twitter, and then Elon Musk did tweet that we're trying and testing different things,
Yes.
and we'll see what works, what doesn't.
Yeah, which is what I love
So
about Twitter. That's what it used to be. Even in the early days when it had really picked up and people were actually on Twitter, there was a lot of stuff happening. We would give feedback to, Twitter, and they would actually respond and be like, yeah, we're trying out stuff, etc. And now again, I mean, I don't know. Elon is a very polarizing figure. There are people who love him and people who absolutely hate him, and there's no middle ground.
yeah.
But I think he's trying something, and I'm really excited to see what happens and where it goes. And honestly, the blue tick is it has represented something till now, which might change and it might not change.
But don't you think that not having the verification badge, like without even paying it, without not having the verification badge, it does not really separate out the parody accounts or the fake accounts from the actual authentic verified accounts?
Yeah, sure. I mean, for example, a political figure, for example, I think it is important for them to have that verification check mark to say that this is in fact the real person. I don't face the same issues that a Narendra Modi or a Rahul Gandhi would face, for example. So for me, it's no big deal, and I'm sure politicians have deep pockets to pay $8 is nothing for them. So I don't think it'll be an issue.
So, do you think the subscription fee plan would be successful in India, given that they will just get a verification badge? I mean, do you think people would take it up?
I will not subscribe. I can't say for the rest of people in India, but I will not subscribe. I mean, if I am subscribing to any other platform like a Netflix, or I even have a Spotify premium account, the
Hmm.
reason I have that is because on Spotify, I don't want to listen to ads. And Netflix is, again, both these platforms are for my entertainment. They make me happy. Music makes me happy. I want to watch
Hmm.
art on film, and which is why I have Netflix. Why do I have Twitter?
Hmm.
I mean, of course, there's a data point that I was the first Indian user to sign up to Twitter. So I'm like, I can't really delete my account, let it be. But at the same time, I don't think it's really adding any value to my life. So I don't see why I will subscribe to anything on Twitter.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah. But okay, so don't you think like if Twitter takes this up, other platforms might do that as well? Like just for no ads, other platform starts off by saying ki, okay, then even we should start off people will pay us and we won't show them ads.
Oh, no, I don't think so. I mean, what other platforms are there, first of all? If you're going to compare it to Instagram, for example, on Instagram, half the time I can't even tell if it's an ad or if it's actual content that I'm looking at.
So do you think that people are migrating to other platforms like in India or in the world aspect?
I mean, I've heard of a bunch of other platforms and I have tried all those platforms, and they can't compete with what Twitter has to offer, or the loyalty that Twitter has had for being, the early mover. They were the first platform to do what they did, and it kind of really took off for them. So I don't think there's anybody that can compete with what Twitter is doing at all.
Like, okay, so Twitter got banned in Nigeria. So Nigeria took up Coup. That's an Indian social based micro blogging platform, right? So do you think that people in India might take it up just so that they don't have to pay the $8?
Nah, no, they'll still stay on Twitter with a free account. They're not going to go to a different platform. They might try it, but again, you have to understand Twitter has the bulk of the population on it. It is what it is. There are some people who don't like the platform and don't want to use it, and they're like, oh, I'm deleting my account. But most of us are on Twitter.
Well, that's true. And what about Mastodon? Mastodon also has come up with, which is trying to compete with Twitter and also. So,
Not a chance.
well, I mean, we never know. You never know what Twitter might do that makes people migrate to other platforms, and we
Of
really
course,
just have to see.
yeah, but see, the thing is, a normal person who uses Twitter to, stay in touch with their customers, or people who follow experts to stay in touch with them, or people who even follow journalists or politicians, everyone, unless there's a mass exodus and, Elon really, really messes it up, I don't think it's going to change. Everybody wants to be where everyone else is. That's just how we function. So,
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I think we just all we have to do is wait for what Elon does
yeah,
with the
it's fun.
platform.
Yes, yes, talking and watching is fun. I'm really excited.
All right, I think that's pretty much it.
Thank you for having me, Vidisha. Very kind of you.